Hey folks, and welcome to downtown Mukdahan. That's right, we've made it to the Mekong River. When we last left off, we were spending our last evening in Udon Thani. We've spent the last 2 days getting to this point here, and it's been quite a trip. We saw a couple things on the way and met some people, and it's been a good trip. And we're gonna have a day here this episode as well in Mukdahan, and have an evening out and see a bunch of stuff. But for right now, let's go back to the morning that we left Udon Thani, and we'll see all the things that we saw getting here.
It's Wednesday morning. We left Udon Thani a little after 6 this morning. I guess we've been on the road close to an hour, and we just stopped here. I thought this looked nice. You see stuff like this. Somebody the other day I met asked me, what's been your favorite part of the trip so far? What do you like the best? Was it Korat? Was it Udon Thani? I think my favorite part of the trip isn't any of those places. It's waking up in the morning and going somewhere that I've never been before, and seeing the beauty and discovering little places like this, and just seeing what's next. I think that's been my favorite part of the trip. Not that there aren't great cities that we've stopped at and met nice people, but the thing that I enjoy the most is that waking up and going somewhere different and seeing what's on the way. So we're gonna get back on the road, and we'll be in Sakhon Nakhon in about an hour and a half. So we just got into Sakhon Nakhon, and this is like right as you get into town, this old Khemer style temple or whatever it is, but it's supposed to be pretty old, and it really looks like it's put together well. Those big stones on the bottom, the base. So I've always been interested to take a look at things like this.
So yeah, the best I could find out is that's a sandstone carved temple. It's really a ruin, and it should be 800 to 900 years old. But before we go to the hotel, let's see what else we roll by.
So it's about 9:30. We made good time here, despite the construction, lots of construction. But anyway, we're gonna go check in and see what the room looks like.
So yeah, this is called Chokdi Place. It's right here in Sakhon Nakhon, and we got checked in. And this hotel is one of these hotels that doesn't look like much from the road, I'll admit. But look at this, they got a nice exercise room. The hotel was very modern. You got a restaurant over here, and a little coffee shop in the lobby as well. And this is a second swimming pool. I say that because outside, when I pulled up, I saw the first swimming pool. So there's the first one. I think the second one really caught me by surprise. So the room's pretty nicely appointed. Very, very modern. Even had the safety box and nice TV there. I think we had a fridge. Very nice, comfortable bed. Medium. Could have been softer, but not too hard. An actual desk chair. I appreciated that, and even a little dining area. So we went out at night, and the weather was questionable. There wasn't much going on, so we just went and had some pizza. We wanted some. We were ready for some pizza after eating a lot of street food the last 2-3 nights. So we enjoyed a nice pizza and then called it a night.
So it's the morning of day 8. We're leaving Sakhon Nakhon. This hotel did quite a business. They filled the parking lot, I'll tell you that. I don't know that they had much more room. But we're on our way to Mukdahan this morning. We've got a stop planned on the way. We're going to meet somebody. But it occurred to me that right now, right here, we're the farthest away from home that will be on the trip. Every kilometer we do henceforth will put us actually closer to home. So it's a big circle. So we're at, I guess, at the apex of the curve. We're just at the farthest part of the elliptical away from home. So day 8, and we will make our way to Mukdahan. So this morning we just stopped in a very random village on the way to Mukdahan. Definitely rice growing, agricultural, and this is, I don't know, to me this is the reason I come. Everything seems a little greener here. Everything seems, the air seems fresher, and the people are, like in this little village, they look at you differently. They look at you differently. I don't. We're probably 5-6 kilometers off the main road back into a very small village, and I just think it's amazing to see the rice fields and the kind of local living that so many people. If there's one of these villages, there's 1,000 all over the place, dotted in Isan. This is just a kind of typical. So we'll take a ride through, and then we're on our way to meet somebody on our way to Mukdahan. So we can't stay here too long.
So our next guest lived about 10 to 12 kilometers off of the main road that we were using. So it wasn't that far off of our route. And we were supposed to meet at this temple. And this temple is, I guess, part and parcel of the village that he lives in, which is a small village. This is another kind of typical small Isan village. And we were supposed to meet here, I think, around 8 o'clock. And beautiful temple here. And funny thing was, he said he'd be on the steps, but I didn't see any steps. That is, until I got over here, and there's steps going down to the river, which I thought was pretty cool. And sure enough, there he is, right on time.
My wife and I bought all the materials to build this one right here.
Oh, wow.
So meet Richard. He lives here in this village, and I think he's a bit of a handyman. He's told me about some of the things he's helped the temple build, and in addition to building almost like a palace in the village, a big home and big building that he lives in. But I guess his second passion would be these e-bikes, and he invited me here to check out his e-bike and to take a ride with him, and he has a couple of them, so we'll take a look and a ride.
It's fun, boy.
So this would be a good bike for riding around the village. How long will the battery last?
I can go probably about 20 miles or 30 miles.
20 to 30 miles.
And feel safe.
All right, so that's Richard with his e-bike. And a lot of people have asked me about e-bikes in Thailand. You don't need a driver's license for this. It's you can just get on it.
So yeah, we wanted to go out for a ride on the e-bikes, but before we left the temple, V wanted to feed the fish. And they were quite hungry. They're just tearing that food up. But I think Richard has done a lot of little kind of modification and customizing on these bikes. So let's go out for a ride and see what they'll do. So we both mounted up on these big, I think he said they're 29-inch e-bikes, and we cruised through the village, and just in a matter of minutes we were through the village and out into the countryside where the rice fields are and the wilderness here. Now bear in mind, I honestly cannot remember the last time I was on a push bike. So, you know, I might have been a little wobbly, but I took to it pretty quick. And it was a beautiful ride. He's got a kind of a regular course he takes these bikes on. And I enjoyed it, but if I'm honest, the seat hurt my bum a little bit. I'm just not used to it. And I was really looking forward to getting back onto my motorcycle.
So we did, how far did we do on the e-bike? 7 miles?
7.
7 miles on the e-bike, all the different speed ranges, through the rice fields, and I didn't fall off of it or anything. It's easy to ride, it's easy to get the hang of, it's very intuitive. And it goes, I mean, most of the time I didn't even pedal, it just goes on its own. So thanks for the tour, Richard, and the use of the e-bike. And it's got a great place here, but we got to get the Mukdahan. We got stuff to do. Okay.
So I guess about an hour later, we finally made it to the mighty Mekong River, and we just followed the river down to the town of Mukdahan, where we would be spending the night. And even though I've never been to this section of the Mekong before, it looks like the other sections I have been to, and we stopped and took a look.
We've made it now to the Mekong River. We just rode into Mukdahan. And if you can see clear to the other side, which is clear today, you can see all the way over to the other side, that would be Laos. We're going to be staying on the river here tonight. And the famous Mekong River, right on the river at the Riverfront Hotel. We're going to spend the night here. We'll see what's doing. So we'll go to the hotel and check that out, and I'll show you what that looks like.
So the hotel's right up here on the right. And in terms of this trip, it was one of the least expensive properties. I think at only 625 baht. The average for the trip was 825 baht, so this was a cheaper one. But once we got in here and took a look around, there was nobody in sight. We got in here, there was nobody in the lobby. We walked around, we couldn't find anybody. It was kind of strange. I was wondering if they were even open for a minute. And to make matters worse, even the front doors here were locked. I felt kind of locked in. But 15 minutes later, some employees turned up and got us checked in and gave us the key, and we were off to the room. So here's the room. Now this is, I guess, kind of an older hotel, but it does have a charm to it. I like all the woodwork, the wooden furniture. It kind of reminds me of where I went to summer camp. And like its name would imply, we had a view of the Mekong River. Shortly after we checked in, though, the skies kind of opened up and we got rained on, which kind of dampened our spirits a little bit. But I knew the day would end well because my buddy Charlie was coming into town to take us out to dinner.
So a little dinner in Mukdahan. Going over here to Chow Wang Restaurant. And it looks like we'll have a view of the river. So I'll show you what we get. Well, we've got a feast going on here. Look at that spread. A little bit of everything. But we've got to eat it before it gets cold. But a lot of spicy seafood. And I've got masamang with beef. And I've not really been able to find that a lot. So that's the only thing we have, I think. Oh, we got a pork dish too. But most of it's seafood.
Wow.
Oh, look at that. So long since I had that.
So what can I tell you? Good restaurant, good food, good friends. We had a great evening. And it sure was nice seeing Charlie again, but we've not seen the last of Charlie. If you're tired of the cities, the hotels, the restaurants, be sure to tune in next episode because he's going to give us a taste of real Isan village living, which doesn't include any of the above. So we'll see what that looks like next time. But for this episode, I've got to leave it off right here. And as usual, I'll thank you for watching. And until next time, bye for now.